Hello, this is Alan Fogelquist. This is July 23rd, 2020. Today I'm going to summarize some of my experiences with digital cameras and with photography in general. I'm by profession a historian and analyst of world politics and world economic problems. I also have experience as a medical and psychiatric social worker. So that's my professional training. Um, Throughout quite a bit of my life, I have enjoyed taking photographs and using various cameras. My earliest experiences were with little Kodak snapshot cameras back in the 1960s. Back then, my earliest efforts to take photographs, I had a problem of not keeping my hand steady, but I learned how to correct that. In the 1980s, I was living in former Yugoslavia, and I had both a Kodak film camera and also somewhat more expensive uh, Russian film camera with a telephoto lens and also just a regular, um, I guess it would be the equivalent of a prime lens. And I got some pretty nice photographs of various parts of Yugoslavia with the Russian camera. Unfortunately, um, I lost a lot of my photographs from earlier years. Um, in the 1960s and 70s, I lived in Colombia and Puerto Rico, and I lost all of my photographs and my cameras. But that is just kind of um, an introduction to my photography experience. I got started, or I got restarted taking photographs in 2007 when I went to the local CVS pharmacy and I bought a Kodak point and shoot camera and with 6 megapixels, and I got some fairly nice landscape and cityscape daylight shots with that camera. At that time, my sources of income were not too good, and so I had to stick with point and shoot cameras. And only in 2015 did I find enough money to buy a Nikon or Nikon D, APS-C camera. Only in 2019, at the beginning of the year, was I able to buy some real DSLR full frame uh, cameras. And since then, I've tried a number of them, and I've been able to take quite a few landscape photos. I'm currently living in Hillsboro, Oregon, and I'm fairly close to some very nice landscape. There are a lot of state and city parks with woods and meadows, and the closest real lake with a lot of very nice scenery is Henry Hagg Lake. So I've taken quite a few photographs using various cameras and going around Henry Hagg Lake. Now to get to the cameras, I have used Nikon Z7, the Sony A6000, which is an APS-C camera, and I've used the Canon 6D Mark II and the Sony A7 III and A7R III cameras. And I have most of those cameras in my possession now. About 90% of my photography over the last couple of years, since I've been using the full frame and DSLR or mirrorless cameras, probably 90% of my photography has been still photography, landscape photography, and some suburban landscape photography. I've gotten my best images. I think my favorite camera for the kind of photography that I've been doing is the Nikon or Nikon Z7. I've done a few YouTube videos, but I do that mostly with a high definition web camera. I even have a UHD web camera, which I've used, and I find that meets my needs for taking videos. I've done a few experimental videos outside of landscapes using the Canon's 6D Mark II and the Nikon D850, the Nikon Z7, and the Sony A7 Mark III and Sony A7R Mark III cameras. But I haven't done a lot of videography, and I probably won't. But over the years, I have had enough experience with photography and cameras to know what some of the major problems are. At present, I can say that I'm overinvested in cameras. I have more cameras than I actually need. I bought this succession of cameras over the past year when I got enough money to buy the full frame and mirrorless cameras. I've kind of progressed from lower end to higher end, and I've spent more money than I actually need. The purchase of the cameras has been kind of out of curiosity, and each time I buy one of the cameras, I find certain types of photography or certain lenses that are not quite what I would like them to be. I know that by understanding photography, understanding lighting, understanding locations, and using the right techniques, that you can get very good photos on just about any camera. I got some excellent photos using my point and shoot cameras, And I've gone through those cameras, those photos, which I have posted on such media as Flickr and 300, I forget what the name of, it's PX photos. I think I'll end this video here, and then I'll start a couple of other ones on photography later.